Hello YouTube, RJ. Hey, today I want to talk about some software. I want to talk a little about the sausage making that goes on in the lab, how I do the videos. Now, I did a video where I've upgraded my editing software, and I wanted to do a little video to talk about how I capture the video. I've changed software recently, and I wanted to kind of point out maybe some of you might be interested in a good, inexpensive way to capture your video and such. If not, hey, click off if this is not your thing, if you don't think you're going to learn anything. I think most people that mess around might learn a little something from this. So, uh, anyway, what I want to talk about is how the software I use to capture from the cameras. Now I use a bunch of different cameras. I use some Logitech webcams, some of their high-end 4K Brios. I use Pocket 3 DJI camera for portable moving around and video and stuff. But these webcams all over the lab, pull it all together, you need something to capture it in the computer synced up and such. And so for a while I was using a piece of software I'm going to show you. I was using a piece of software called Multicam Capture 2.0 by Corel. I think I paid something like, when I bought the Pinnacle Studio, I think that I was given a free version that only did like one or two cameras. And I think I had to pay 45 bucks, 50 bucks to upgrade to the multiple cameras and such. And I did. And the software works. You can actually see that I'm capturing the video you're watching on it. And you might wonder, well, if you went to new software, why are you doing that? Well, because I want to open the new software and show it to you. And I've got to capture my screen and capture this camera while being able to use the other software. So I went back to my old software. I'm going to use it for this particular video. So anyway, this software can do multiple cameras. It can do screen capture. This is the screen you're looking at is being captured. The video you're watching right here is being captured right here, screen one. And also my Pro Webcam C920 that's up on my monitor, my camera I use for video conferencing and such, is being captured on the HD ProCam webcam C920 on this software also. I can actually, what you see, you don't see previews with screen captures because you're looking at the screen already, but it gives you a preview. Here I am. This is probably going to have an interesting effect, but here I am, the preview. And one of the things you're going to notice is it's small, low resolution, and if you try to blow it up, the resolution doesn't get better. So it's oftentimes hard to tell whether you're in focus, how things really look. Are you seeing details when you use this as your preview? So that's one little negative that I ran into. So let me get that off the screens for you. So anyway, not a real expensive piece of software, and it does work, and I did use it for a while, but it's very, very buggy. It does things like, and it's only done it a handful of times, but it's catastrophic when it does. It likes to let you record, and then when you hit the stop button and it's supposed to write the files out, crashing and losing the video I've created, which can be devastating sometimes. If you just built something, it's done now. You don't have the ability to go back and redo and re-video. So that was really getting on my nerves. The other thing is there was a lot of little weird oddities with using the software, and I won't get into them too much. I want to more go on to the new software and talk about what's great about it. Now, one of the things I do like about this is it has the ability to capture not just cameras, but also screens. One of the big negatives of this software is it is limited to high definition. As I moved 4K cameras, it can't do those. Now, they supposedly have a version I could have upgraded to, spent more money and upgraded to, but this is so buggy, I was looking for alternatives. And I've tried a number of different capturing software. This was not like the first I went with. This is in a long string. And what would happen is each time I would try a piece of software and I try a different one and I thought it was better, I would move to the better, get rid of the old. And so currently I still have this on the computer because I use it for all my screen captures, and I'll explain that in a minute. So let's take a look at the new software. The new software is called, here's Microsoft Store. This is this software we're going to look at. It's called Multicamera 4K. It's made by Alexander Komarov, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but did the best I could. I can tell you a few things about Alexandra. I've emailed Alexandra a number of times. We have a long conversation back and forth. He's a very responsive developer. He was very responsive to some of the things I did not like. He's made changes. There's other things I'd like for him to change that we'll talk about that he's been a little more resistant to, but he's going to be watching this video, I believe. He said he would. So I'm hoping maybe when he sees what I'm actually describing, maybe it'll motivate him. Maybe he'll see it and say, you know, that's right, that would be better. But very, very responsive. I emailed him. I told him what the things were that I thought needed to be changed to improve the software. He was, you know, Johnny on the spot. Within no time, he'd made the changes, pushed out updates. Really very responsive. I tried to be being an ex-software developer, I tried to be very responsive to what would actually be an improvement, not just a gripe or how I think it should be, but only things that other people would also respond to well. So this is it. It's a nice piece of software. It's got a 3.0 rating. I think it could definitely be higher than that with a little bit of work. I think it's probably already on its way to being better. A lot of people feel the same way. Almost perfect. There's just certain things. Works very, very well. It's getting better constantly. There's just a few things about it that, and like I said, he's improved some of the ones I've reported to him. But this software is, where does it say? It was very inexpensive. You see where the system requires. Where does it say how much it is? I'm probably looking right at it and you guys are screaming at me, but I want to say this thing was 15 bucks or something. It was very inexpensive, well worth the money. I told him I'd pay more. Told him that he should make the few improvements and up the price really for his work. But anyway, with that, let's get out of that. Let's get into the software. This is what it looks like when it pops up. You can change the theme if you want. There's two themes, a darker and a lighter. And basically what you have is you add your cameras, comes up with a list. I've named these and we'll get into that. So let's open up the bench face camera. That's what I call the camera on the bench. It looks at my face. It's going to pop up a box here. I want to know what resolution. You have all these different resolutions and file formats and there's a bunch. There's a bunch on here that you can choose. And then you choose the microphone. And of course, every microphone on your system provides a microphone. Now, one of the things right off the bat that I asked him to change that he did is this box would pop up and it always defaulted back to the very top. NV12 format here. It always went to the very top one. No matter what you chose, when you went back to this camera next time, it was going to go back to this, okay? Back to the top one. So I asked him also the microphone. It forgot what microphone you were using for this camera. You had to choose it every time. So what I asked him is to save this when you do this and default to the one you used last time, just to save the time and the mistakes and such. He did that. It works great now. This is the resolution and format I use. This is the microphone that I'm using on this camera at the moment, okay? And so you simply say, okay, and the camera will start up, and there's the bench looking out, and you've got your camera. You're ready to start recording with it. Now you can go add additional cameras. One of the other things that I'd really love to see him do is save your settings on this. Down here is different things you can do to control the camera, and this is your settings. You can control brightness and such. And what I wanted him to do is to restore what you used last time. And what he said to me was, hey, you can already save it in here and put it on. And what I'm really talking about, Alexander, if you happen to be watching, is that's true. I can hit this right now and load my settings. Boom, I just did. That works great. The problem is this will go away if I end this and bring this camera back up. It will not, it'll go back to default here. It will not load my saved settings. I have to remember to go down here each time and not forget to load them. It would be really nice is if you have a saved configuration, if you automatically apply that last saved configuration. Because if the person wants it different, they've got to go in here and change it anyway. So likely what they've set before would be a good choice. anything to save time. When you're a YouTuber or streamer or stuff that does this constantly all the time, these little things, what happens is you make a mistake, you forget to do this, you video your video and then realize that you didn't apply these, and now things aren't looking so good, and it creates a lot of effort in your editing software to fix the way the image looks. It's so much nicer to record it correctly to start with. And just one little slip up to forget to do this when you're getting in and out of this. There are days that I shoot 3 videos, 4 videos on a weekend day, and I'm in and out of these cameras maybe 4, 5, 6, 8 times in each video. So I could be into this 30 or 40 times. One time forgetting, now my video looks strange. My viewers might have caught that a few times where you're going along and all of a sudden the image just looked different. I try to tweak it back in the edit software to get it to look the same, but I can't get it exactly the same as the rest of the video. I just forgot to hit the button. If it just defaulted, you would save all those horrors for us. Okay. The next thing is you've got camera settings. This is where you can name the camera, name the file name, put the display for the microphone name, set the folders. And what I had was, when I first got the software, it would remember the camera display, what it puts up here on the screen, but it would not remember the file name. And so the first thing that happened is this file name was always camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, and that was based on which camera you opened first. If you opened them in a different order, camera 1 was now what used to be camera 2. And when you go to edit, that means that you have all these different scenes you've shot, and the camera names could be swapped around. And that was a nightmare. So I explained that to him. He jumped right on that and fixed it to where when I put bench face in here, from now on, that camera always loads up as bench face. The other thing he did for me was file names. The file names used to just say cam 1, basically parentheses number 1, parentheses number 2. It was chaotic when you went to edit. So what I asked him to do is do what most software does, and that is put the name of the camera and append a time and date onto it. He did that. Works great. Fantastic. Fixed that problem. Here's where you set up your video folder where you're going to be storing your captured video. And here's where you're going to be putting your photos if you take photos, because you can snap a photo. Resolution microphone brings up the box that we were already in, the information, and you can change it there. You can take a picture. You can rotate. We're going to talk about that in a minute. You can zoom to fill. You can get camera information, and you can do stabilization on the video, software where it stabilizes if it's moving. Now, with these cameras being bench mounted, not a big deal for me, okay, but nice feature. Okay, now we've talked about that, and I've explained, about saving the adjustment settings. There's one other thing I'd love for him to save that would save me a lot of heartache also. But I want you to look how good the preview is this. And you say, well, yeah, Rob, it's full screen. Yes, but as soon as I add another camera, okay, see, it's remembered microphone and resolution and file format. Very nice. Here's my bench, all right? Got to remember to go in and load the settings to make it look right. But I got to rotate this. Because of the way the camera is mounted, the camera looks down at the bench backwards to what I see. And when I'm filming and I want video for you guys to work with me on the bench, I want you to see what I'm looking at. I want it to look the way that it looks to me, not backwards. So every time I've got to remember to do this. And you'll catch in videos every once in a while where I forget to do this, and all of a sudden things look different. And that's because when I shot that scene, I forgot to rotate the camera. If this could be saved along with the settings and automatically applied, it would be a lifesaver. It would make the tool much more user-friendly, because I'm not the only one that has this. This is not just for RJ. We have other people that do YouTube, do streams and stuff that are in and out of their cameras. And if they have to rotate, this happens when you do YouTube and such. When you have to rotate, you've got to remember every time to do this. So that's another gotcha that'll get you in the software that should be fairly easy to resolve. So that's really the biggest complaints I have with the software. And it's not so much complaints, it's just usability. But the software is fantastic. It works great. Other than these little things. Look at the preview, okay? The preview is crisp, it's clean. I can tell if it's out of focus. I can tell if it's, the color looks good. In the old software, if you remember, it was very bad preview. You couldn't tell much. So I really enjoy the software. I think he should make some minor improvements, and he should charge more. You know, who's going to blink at spending $40 on a nice capture, 4K capture software system? Now, the one other thing that I really would love to see the software do is do screen capture. Now, he offered up one suggestion. He said, hook up a USB HDMI capture unit and split your monitor and feed into it, and then you can do that. Well, that's kind of messy. There's a lot of issues in my case. Number one is that I use 3 monitors, and that's all my computer can handle. So I'd have to split a monitor. I wouldn't be able to just plug into another port. I'd have to do a bunch of wiring and buying a splitter because I don't have a way to daisy chain. I have to put a splitter, $50 splitter in here, run a bunch of extra cables, put another USB capture device on. And to be honest with you, that's going to run into problems because I'm getting to the point that the USB is going to be a congested issue. It's just not very practical. It would be so nice if the system could screen capture, and I know you can pull it through Windows the same way he's doing the cameras here. So this is why I have to use this. I have to use this. I keep this software only because I use it for the screen captures, because it does okay. It is buggy, but it does work. The screen capture works better than the cameras. I've never had the screen capture lock up when I'm done in lost video. I've never had it bug out. There's a few little quirks about it. You have to be careful with your microphones on the. That's another thing this is really good about. The older software, if I turn off my wireless mic because I'm done shooting a scene, I'm saving the battery, or maybe I need to charge the mic before I go to the next scene, I have to close the software completely down, open it up, and reconfigure everything. If I don't, the microphone won't work. In this software, if I do the same, as soon as I turn that wireless microphone back on and start capturing, the mic works perfect. That alone saves me a lot of effort. So he's done a great job. Kudos to Alexandra, did a great job with this software. I really like it. I highly recommend that if you need to capture cameras, especially 4K stuff, you want an easy to use piece of software, I highly recommend this software. I've tried like 6 different capture systems. I can tell you at the moment, this is my guy. It's the one. It's what I'm using. I love it. It's so stable. Thanks for tuning in, checking out my little rant and rave about software for capture. And Alexandra, you got a great piece of software. I'm going to pull it up here again. I want everybody to be able to see it. It's multi-camera 4K. Alexandra, I won't butcher his name again. Try it out. If you like it, give him a better rating, because 3.0 just doesn't cut it for this software. Even though I think there's improvement to be done, I'm going to give him a 5. Because it is the best I've found. If you even with the little things that I'd like to see changed. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope to catch you in the next video.